Connor, thank you so much, as I said, for talking to us today openly about living with a heart condition.
No problem.
It has been well publicised. I think you were diagnosed in your 20s,
Yeah.
which actually is quite late.
Yeah.
And obviously would have come as a huge surprise to you, or a shock even.
Yeah.
Can you just reflect back on that time?
Yeah, it was difficult. Truthfully, I've never really spoke about it openly because I don't know, obviously it was a difficult time, but at the same time I felt fortunate that I was one who was able to continue playing, so I've never really wanted to take sympathy for the situation that I was put in because I see myself as being fortunate, but obviously going back to it, it was a tough time. My wife now is my girlfriend then. She always tells me that I need to speak about it, but I don't know, truthfully, I don't really like it.
Do you think you wouldn't have been diagnosed had you not been an elite sports person? It was screening for your sport that found it, wasn't it?
Yeah, there was no chance. It was a random checkup, to be fair. Brighton say that every new player has to be checked. Well, every player has to be checked. I think it's every 2 or 3 years. And I signed there late in the transfer window and the season was still playing. So the next year there was like, we haven't done this, we need to get it done. Have you ever had it done at my old team Shrewsbury? And I said, no. I've had the echo, but never had a full scan. So they sent me to the scan and then obviously we got the results a few days later.
And that just would have been a bombshell for you?
Yeah, it was. I actually didn't want to go on the day. I used to play on the PlayStation, things like that when I was younger, before children. And yeah, I said that I wasn't going to go, I don't need to go. To be fair, I always half knew that I had something.
And why?
It's strange because my dad's had a heart attack when he was younger, playing football. Luckily he's still alive, but he had a heart attack just playing with his friends, playing football. Then he had another one when he was older, and then when I was 16 in the youth team, they'd done the first checkups that I think are mandatory when you join the youth team, and I had something there where I couldn't play for the most of the first pre-season when I was 16. And then luckily I was able to carry on, but I felt like deep down I always knew there was something there, but didn't really want to know what it was because I'd never felt anything. I remember I fainted a few times, like if I'd get up too quickly or things like that. I remember one day in the bathroom at home, my mum found me just on the floor fainted, and there's another time where I just stood up in the living room, fainted, and then just got back up. But I remember like things like that used to happen quite often, like if I got up too quick or I hadn't ate enough. But on the pitch, I never felt anything. I felt fine, I felt fit. And yeah, I don't know, as I said, deep down I knew there was something.
And the operation for an enlarged aorta is, it does have risks. I think 1 in 20 people die in the operating table.
Well,
were you aware of the risks?
No. To be fair, the surgeon was amazing. His name was Ulrich Rosendahl, and I was fortunate that obviously being at Brighton I was able to go private and see the best people. So I was in the specialist and then the surgeon. He was amazing with me.
And why did they opt to do the operation when they did? Because so many people live with that condition for a long time until I think they run an algorithm and they decide, no, now is the time. Because you don't have to always get it operated on immediately. Or was yours at that stage?
The breaking point for the aortic root is 50 millimeters diameter. And on my first scan I was at 49 millimeters, and on my second I was at 50. So I think it was basically, if I wanted to play football, I had to have it done. There was no ifs or buts. I think it was my decision where if I wanted to play, I could have stopped obviously then, or if I wanted to play, the surgeon was like, you'll have no problem to play, but we have to put this stent around. He invented the operation. And from when I seen him, the first thing he was like to me, are you nervous? And I was like, yeah, of course. We went and sat down in his office, me and my wife, and he said, don't worry, you'll be back playing in 4 months. And then from there, I just think, I know it's easy to say, but everything else kind of didn't matter. Which looking back, probably why I don't like speaking about it is I was going through something obviously serious, and all I really cared about at that age was if I could play football again. So that's probably one of the reasons why I find myself so fortunate.
Did you have those difficult conversations that people talk about when they are facing a life-changing diagnosis and a serious operation? Did you ever think, what happens if I don't make it here?
Yeah, I think obviously those thoughts go through your head. There's obviously some people you read online and you read up about your condition and what you have wrong, and you see some things saying that you don't need an operation, you can deal with it with food or changing your diet or things like that. And obviously it sways your head, do I really need this? I've never felt anything obviously while exercising, but I don't want to sit here and lie and say I think about it all the time. But when it's brought up, and even like when we sign new players sometimes, and they'll say what happened there, like with the scar on my chest, and you actually talk about it, and it's straight away like a big reaction of like, whoa. But I don't really think about it like that. As I say, I feel really fortunate. I was out for 3-4 months and I've never had a problem since. I get checked every year, so I see people in football that have knee operations and ankle operations and broken legs that are out for a lot longer. I always felt like when you mention the word heart, it's straight away a massive thing, which it's understandable. Obviously, if you do your knee, it's not life-threatening. If anything would have happened with me, what they said could have happened, the risk of mine, I was going to die. So I do understand it, but that's the reason why I find it hard.
How big is your scar? What's your scar like?
Yeah, it's my whole chest. It's from the top here to the bottom here.
And when you look at it, you obviously see it every day.
I don't see it anymore. It's part of me, it's part of my body. It looks nice, I like it. It shows obviously what I've been through, but the only thing obviously with the scar is when you are obviously here in the showers and people obviously ask questions, but I don't mind talking about it, and yeah, it's part of me.
And how many years ago was that now?
7th this year, I think. Yeah.
Amazing.
I think so.
And a lot's changed, obviously.
A lot has
since
changed,
then.
yeah.
So tell me about some of the highlights over the past 7 years.
I've had 2 children.
Yes.
I've got married. They're the highlights for me. Obviously football now. Looking back, football was always my priority, and it still is. I love the game and I absolutely love football and I love what I do, and I hope I can continue doing it for many years. But now that you have a family and I have children, they're the most important things for me.
So how old are they now? You've got a 2-year-old.
He's 2 in February and 5.5. He'll be 6 in May.
Both boys?
Both boys.
Gosh, okay, so they're playing football already?
Yeah. The little one's very, very good. For his age, he's very, very good. The older one is in and out. 1 minute he loves it, he goes to train, but he's one of those children that is probably the spoilt first kid, that he's got too many toys. 1 minute is football, and then the next minute is cars, and the next minute is Super Mario. He's into everything. I have my kids' heart rates now on both wrists, so that was before they was both born, from the baby scans.
Wow.
And I don't know, I just think it reflects a lot, obviously, what I've been through, and obviously they mean obviously everything to me, but I don't know, the heart rate just seemed, instead of having the names, it just seemed a lot more appropriate. And yeah, every time that I walk onto the pitch, I kiss both of them and my wedding finger.
We are so delighted that Rangers are our charity partner with the BHF this year. That is obviously significant for you, given what you've been through. Do you know much about the work of the BHF?
I know, obviously, you do an amazing job and what you work for and what you stand for. And yeah, I'd love to help in any way possible. Obviously, we've got this organised, which I'm happy to be able to do and actually be able to speak about it. But as I said, I try to stay away, and I try and not speak about it as much as I probably should to help other people. What
about the endeavour to get 50,000 Rangers fans learning CPR, to know how to do it if they see someone collapse in front of them?
100%. I think it's hard because I feel like we live in a world where nobody really does things until it happens to you, and then people do everything. I feel like that's the world that we live in now. I think it's so fast-paced, and you can learn everything by a click of your phone, that people think that they don't have to learn things, but when it does happen to you, and when it happens to yourself or someone you know, then you realise how important it is.
Do you know how to do CPR?
I do.
Have you ever had
Not perfectly, but I know roughly how to do it.
Brilliant. Thank you so much.
No problem at all.
That was brilliant. Really appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you.